Welcome, problem solving fans, to another problem of the day. And this is all about thinking of a number problems. Well, the first one says Sammy is thinking of a number. The sum of 25% of her number and 75% of her number is 120. What number is Sammy thinking of? Well, the number Sammy thinking of must actually be 120 itself. So this is a bit of a trick question because it's already giving us the answer. Now the reason for this is that if you imagine a bar model and imagine the bar split into quarters, well, in each quarter would be 25%, so 25% in each quarter. There we go. Well, 25% would be 1/4 and 75% would be 3/4. So 25% and 75%. And it is telling us that the 25% and the 75% adds up to 120. So the whole bar adds up to 120, which means the number she must be thinking of is 120. 25% of 120, or 1/4 of 120, would be 30. And if each bar is worth 30, so 30, 30, 30, the 75% put together must be 30 plus 30 plus 30, which would be 90. Now, if we trace it back to the question, this 30 and 90 makes sense. So if the number she's thinking of is 120, then the 25% of that would be worth 30, and 75% of that would be worth 90. So the sum of 30 plus 90 is 120. So the number she must be thinking of is 120. The second part to the question is Taryn is thinking of a number. The difference between 2/5 of the number and 1/10 of the number is 18. What number is Taryn thinking of? Well, the first thing is that we need to find a common denominator for 2/5 and 1/10. Well, the common denominator for 5 and 10 would be tenths, to turn them both into tenths. Well, 1/10 can stay as it is, and 2/5, if we just double both numbers, we'll get an equivalent fraction of 4/10, because double the 2 is 4, double the 5 is 10. And that's an equivalent fraction of 4/10. Now we need to think about the difference. Well, the difference between 4/10 and 1/10 would be the answer to 4/10. Take away 1/10, because remember, difference is when you subtract the smaller one from the larger one. So 4/10 subtract 1/10 is 3/10. So the difference is 3/10. But it is telling us that the difference is 18. So this 3/10 must be worth 18. Now what we could do is draw a bar model at this point. Now we're dealing with tenths, so our bar would have to have 10 separate bits in the bar. And we're being told that 3/10 is worth 18. So these first three pieces would be worth 18. Now, if 3 pieces are worth 18, if you split your 18 into 3 pieces, you get 6, because 18 divided by 3 is 6. So that's telling us that this piece is worth 6, this piece is worth 6, and this piece is worth 6, because 3 6s make 18. But don't forget that if each piece is worth 6, for the first 3 pieces, all the pieces are worth 6. So 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6. And the number that Taryn is thinking of is all of the 6s put together. Now we've got 10 6s there, so all of the 6s put together is basically going to be 6 multiplied by 10, which is 60. So the number Taryn must be thinking of is 60. Final answer, 60. Let's just go back to the question and double check what we've got makes sense. Well, 4/10 of the number would be 4 lots of 6 here. Well, 4 lots of 6 is 24. So 4/10 of the number would be 24. And 1/10 of the number is just one piece, which would be 6. And it is So does that make sense? So the difference between this 24 and this 6, is it 18? Well, 24 minus 6 is 18. So the difference between 24 and 6 is definitely 18. So that seems to make sense. So our final answer is the original number must be 60. 60 must be correct.